lighthouse here on what they call the end of the earth. Londres, Moscow, Lisboa, Buenos Aires, Tokyo. Wow, just keep paying attention.
Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Karen.
Welcome to Life 4.0, where we share our adventures of life on board our sailboat as we explore this amazing planet, one anchorage at a time.
This summer, we're crossing much of the Mediterranean, from Greece to Italy, Malta, Spain, including passing out through the Gibraltar Strait, then along the Portuguese coast before we finish in the Galicia area of northwest Spain.
All right, we just said goodbye to our friends Don, Shelley, and Dan. We got some itinerary here of 3 or 4 days of hops to get around to A Coruna, and I just wanted to show that to you. Straight ahead is Cape Finisterre, lighthouse up there on the point. The coastline here is really cool. There's these sharply pointed, arid, rocky mountains there. Also a lot of wind turbines, a lot of wind power on the ridge there. And over on the ridge there, they're running all the way across that ridge. We have some southerly winds coming in a day or two, so actually that'll help us get around the point. Anything's better than the prevailing northerly winds, the nortada that they have here, which would really be tough for us to get around this point. Every day for the last week when we've been checking the weather, been looking offshore here around the point of Cape Finisterre, and it's been this bright red color, which is like 20 to 30 knots of wind, that wind range out of the north. So we're like, ugh, that's going to be tough to get around. It's nothing worse than trying to motor through choppy conditions like that, upwind.
Our arrival at the harbor of Finisterre was made all the more easy by the generously long and free dock space that the town had provided for visiting boats. It ended up being an early sign of the vibe of this town, laying out a welcome mat for visitors of all types and transports. With docking accomplished in a jiffy, we headed off for a hike to the lighthouse at Cape Finisterre.
So that cross down there is the cross they've put at the sort of at the end of the world. A lot of the pilgrims that walk out here leave an article of importance to them as they finish their pilgrimage. So there's a lot of people here that are having a pretty great time celebrating the amazing accomplishment. It's neat to see them each achieving a goal that was important to them.
As Karen mentioned, we had found ourselves at the end of the world. The name Finisterre has its Latin roots in the words finis, terra, literally meaning end of the earth. Since antiquity, people would come here to gaze out to the setting sun and assume Earth ended on the other side of the horizon. More recently, this spot gained a new moniker, the Costa de Morte, or Coast of Death, from the nearly 600 documented ship sinkings. Most recently, a tanker named Prestige in 2002, carrying 70,000 tons of oil, causing one of Europe's worst ever environmental disasters. So it was with relief that we were surrounded in modern times at this point of land by the joyful energy of the pilgrims from the famous Camino de Santiago, the 500-mile walking trail across northern Spain that attracts the religious, the spiritual, and the soul searcher. From the mark of the scallop shell, the simple brand of the Camino, to artwork inspired by nature, we found Finisterre to embody the kind of youthful vibrance, positivity, and hope that makes you search eagerly for a way to bottle it up and take it home with you.
Got our sails up now and kind of slowly making our way around the point here of Cape Finisterre. It's really kind of cool with all the clouds around. There's actually a parking lot for RVs up there. You gotta have an awesome view, yeah. And we're getting kind of slapped around with the swells here. Don't really have enough. Oh, we're down to 7 knots of wind speed, so. But we got, looks like, more interesting geology ahead of us down there. Sailing's going well as we're making our way around to Muxia, and we were just talking, the two of us, about how the land here looks a lot like it would be in Scotland. Rocky shoreline, green pastures, what we imagine to be in Scotland. We've never been there before. So halfway between where we are and the point of land is a spot that's 1 meter to 2 meters deep at low tide. And actually you can't really see any sign of it right now, but it's down there lurking, ready to catch some unsuspecting captains of yesteryear. If the coast didn't catch them, the rocks standing off the shore here would have. I imagine they stayed quite a ways out to sea back then to avoid all these obstacles.
All right, we're approaching the harbor of Muxia. It's supposed to be a neat lighthouse on the end, and it looks like there's also a beautiful church, so can't wait to see that. Pretty big swells coming in here today. See what the entrance is like when the swells are coming in this big. There's lots of breaking water on the shore. Wow, look at those. Wow, look at those breaking waves there. Those are crazy. Wow, just keep paying attention. Okay.
Yeah.
After the tense entry earlier around the breaking waves, it felt appropriate to join the other sunset worshippers and a few wayward pilgrims on the top of Muxia's rocky promontory, sharing a bottle of wine with my bride and wishing the sun well on its journey over the horizon.
Got a lot of wind today coming up. It's a very strong wind flow from out of the south. It's actually really interesting. It's coming in from the west, and then there's this like shear line that's bending it up, pointing it up north along the coast here. So southerly wind. We don't have very far to go today, about 20-25 miles, but we're expecting quite a bit of wind, so we're getting prepared for that. And a lot of tricky navigation once again today with rocks offshore, stuff that's just below the surface, stuff that's just showing where waves are breaking over top of it. So we'll be paying attention today.
We're rounding the point to come into the harbor of Laxe, on the northwest point of Spain. And it looks like a dredging barge is coming out to maybe take its load out to sea to dump it. We got some breakers in here that we're trying to stay off of. And got our sails up. The wind's about 20 knots, fluctuating, sometimes lower, sometimes a little higher. So we have our sails reefed, both of them. We have one reef in each, the jib and the main. We haven't had much rain today. It's been a little spitty, but we're in our fall weather gear. There's my spouse, the cute spouse.
Hasn't seen a lot of use.
No, we've not seen. Our foul weather gear hasn't seen a lot of use. So yeah, we'll take this guy's stern here. Alright, so yeah, he's pretty low in the water. Wow, his bow goes way down. So yeah, he seems like he has a pretty heavy load there. I suspect they're wanting to get out there and get things offloaded pretty quick.
After a stormy night at anchor, we did a quick turn and headed back out in the morning for our last push to A Coruna.
We got some breakers on a shallow area out there we got to keep an eye out for. And of course the ubiquitous fish traps. But yeah, these waves are just they're really erratic. There's definitely a swell coming in this way from the ocean, but there's also things going this way and things going that way, so we're being rolled and rocked and pitched. But we get to have a nice view of this point of land. There's not enough wind for the wind turbines to kick in. It's supposed to be pretty calm today as we make our way around to A Coruna, where we'll be hauling out in a couple days. I just saw something kick up out of the water right over there. Oh, it's jumping tuna or something. Jesus. Got a layer of fog right on the water here. Makes kind of a cool effect where the water meets the land. And we still got a lot of sloppy waves, swells coming through. We've raised the main up and see if that might stabilize us in the swells here. There's not a lot of wind, but it helps a little bit, kind of keep the boat from rolling back and forth. On AIS, we've got it's flashing here, a little plane symbol, which is usually a search and rescue aircraft. And right up above us is the helicopter. They were hovering over the island nearby here for a little while. I was hoping they might swing by. That's a big one.
As we continued north, we only saw a couple other sailboats, and they were all headed south, likely for a warmer berth for the winter. Meanwhile, despite the lack of wind, we were continually rolled by sloppy ocean swells, enough to hide the hull of this passing boat.
Getting close here to A Coruna Harbor. Got a big monument there on top of that headland. And we're kind of in the land of tall buildings again after little quaint villages along the Galicia coast. Been kind of a long day today. It's been motoring all day, but worse than that, it's just been all the swells and erratic wave patterns that knocking us all around. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the marina. This is kind of the end of the line for us. We're going to go around the corner up ahead there to Sotomar, a marina just right in the same bay. But we're going to be spending time putting the boat away and getting everything stowed and cleaned up and a couple projects done and prepped for next season. And we got our new refrigerator coming later this week, so we'll get started on that. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit with mixed emotions arriving here. I'm happy to get here to get away from all the swells and sort of queasiness, but a little bit sad to have it be the end of the season here. And next spring when we come out, we're going to be going around the point over there and heading off across the Bay of Biscay to France. So feels good to get in the harbor here. It's just been so unsettling with all the motion, ups and downs and all that. So we're gonna have fun exploring here and do a little play and a little bit of work and putting the boat away for the winter.
A Coruna served as a perfect wrap-up for the season, with old world charm inside the city and a vast frontage along the coast, providing tremendous green space accessible to all. It felt like a lifetime since we had launched in Previs of Greece 5 months ago, followed by our crossing to Sicily, then down to Malta, back to Sicily, over to Sardinia, west to the Balearic Islands, then along the southern Spanish coast through the Gibraltar Strait, and north along the Portuguese and Spanish Atlantic coasts. Thank you, as always, for all of your support and encouragement. We greatly appreciate hearing from all of you. Join us again for the start of our summer 2022 season as we begin our exploration of Northern Europe by crossing the Bay of Biscay.
If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos.